are you doing today? And you're driving, so be careful.
I am driving, but I'm doing good. How are you?
I'm good. Thank you so much. So before we kind of jump into your game, obviously your game was cut short. I just want to start at the beginning with, the reveal that the actual survivor castaways, Janet and Ethan, were this season's team captains. So what was it like when you found that out and being chosen by Janet?
So I had actually played a game with Ethan. He was on home isolation. So I I didn't know Ethan, but I knew Ethan from that last game. So when he popped on, I was like, oh, like, it's just Ethan's on, but like, it's not really just Ethan's on, but whatever. But then Janet jumped on, and I had no idea Janet was going to be there, let alone pick me to be on her team.
So when your entire team was sort of created, I know you all were kind of thrown into your first competition, but before that competition, what were you thinking? What were your first thoughts? Were you thinking great about your team? Were you thinking you were strong?
I didn't really have any thoughts right away, just because we didn't really get a chance to meet, like, prior to figuring out who we were on our teams with. Like, granted, we met and we chatted, but we never really chatted about the game because we didn't know if we were going to be on a team with them or not. But after the first competition, I was like, damn, this is a strong tribe we got here. So
Yeah. So obviously your team goes on a little bit of a winning streak. I mean, you win the first two challenges back to back. So those first 2 days, what was the vibe like back at your party? And how are you starting to feel about everybody? Where was your placement within the party?
oh my gosh, the first 2 days were so laid back. We literally just bullshitted. We didn't talk anything about the game. We talked about our jobs, our pets, like what we like to do for fun. We even helped Jared figure out how to fix his cupboard. Like, we literally talked nothing about the game. So then we just did whatever. So I got good vibes from everybody. Like, I never was like, ooh, this person's like sneaky. Like, this person is
Yeah.
this. Like, we never really, I should say.
Were you finding that any alliances were forming, or were you thinking that it was just a cohesive, happy group? Because this is, Expedition Survivor, so that people are probably warming up to each other and kind of crafting ideas. Were you trying to do any of that, and were you seeing any of that?
I mean, I was definitely trying to figure out who I think I could get along with and who I would, take like to the end with me. But there was never we never went into the fire by the river or any of that. Like, we stayed in that one big chat.
Yeah.
So nobody could really tell if somebody was being sneaky, and nobody wanted to bring up should we break, because then we thought it would put a huge target on our backs.
It's such that, I mean, you're explaining it so well. Like, that's what makes this game so complicated, because you have to be strategic, but you also have to be kind of crafty about it, because you can't just, openly leave a room. So then obviously we get into day 3, and your party finally loses. It is the spin and shoot relay. So what went wrong?
Everybody went in and was like, I'm freaking amazing at this. Like, we're gonna kick ass. Like, Ethan's team sucks. And I was like, okay, like, whatever. So we needed 2 people to sit out. So we all decided that we were just gonna everybody was gonna sit out, and we were gonna go in a circle. So then it was me and Justin who volunteered to sit out first, and then we were just gonna go in a circle. Like, Kyle, I was gonna do something to pick our names, randomized, only the people that hadn't already sat out, if that makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
And everybody was like, we are gonna do good, and then everybody choked. All right, but everybody choked, and that's why we lost.
So since you didn't participate, are you, once you see them that your party loses, are you worried that you have to defend yourself? Like, what is your strategy going into that hour that your party has to decide?
I mean, I was definitely mad when we lost because it's never a good feeling to sit out and not be able to do anything and still be the losing tribe. Like, it sucks. But I went in and it was so awkward. We all stared at each other for probably a solid 5 minutes before I think Maddie was like, so do we just break out now? Like, I guess we actually have to use these rooms. And nobody wanted to. And so we're all just like, okay, everybody hover your mouse over 1 and we'll count down to 3 and we'll just move from there. So that's what we did. And then the last hour, I felt people were too nervous to say a name.
Yeah.
But
well, so it's interesting because I want to know from your perspective, you know, as a spectator and as a mod watching you all participate, it felt like Jennifer, just because of that whole like first day kind of mishap, could have been an easy target. Did you all feel the same way, or do you feel like she managed to really kind of come into her own and join the party?
I definitely think she managed to come in on her own. There was somebody else who a lot of people had in mind, but were too afraid to say anything until like the last 10 minutes. And then it was just too much to scramble and it was crazy.
Would that person be the one that you voted for?
It was.
So we could say it was Daniel.
Yes.
And was that something that you were trying to spearhead, or was someone else taking it on? Where did you kind of fall into that?
So I wasn't trying to go in any type of direction. I was willing to go in any type of direction as long as it wasn't me. But it ended up being me, so whatever. But I was told by, I want to say, a handful of people on the tribe or the party that Daniel had left the first day. And if to go get like an immunity idol or like an advantage or something. And so then everybody was thinking, well, I want to vote out somebody who we know will be Janet Strong. Like, even if we swap and everybody leaves, but there's still like 4 Janets, like OG Janets, like so that's what everybody was thinking, like going into finding a name. And then the last 10 minutes, Justin and Jared and Rob were like, okay, well, here's a scoop about Daniel, and just kind of like blurted it out. So then we all tried scrambling. And I don't blame them for voting me because it was majority. Because if I would have left and they voted for Dan, then it would have caused bigger issues. So I don't blame them, but
I get it. I mean, it's interesting because I think you nailed it on the head. I mean, kind of going through the footage, that was what was going on. So I know we talked a little bit before I hit record that a DM you feel like may have been part of the reason it was an easy choice to kind of go for you. So do you want to sort of kind of give the audience a quick summary of what happened there?
So I DM'd Jared, and I have never used Discord. So I had received a message from Docs. He's just another one of the hosts. And he had asked me to read him my, I guess, Discord DMs or messages or whatever. And so of course he had to show me step by step how to get there, but we eventually got there. And I had actually messaged Jared. I had sent the letter H, I believe. No, I don't know what I said, but I had sent him something. And so I wasn't able to get into the meeting right away because I had to meet with my professor regarding just extra credit. Like if you met with her, you got 5 points extra credit. And the class was hard, so I wanted to get it out. But in those 5 minutes that I was gone, Jared had said that I had messaged him to everybody. He said that he was between a rock and a hard place and he wasn't sure what to do, so he just told everybody. No hard feelings there. If I was in his shoes, I probably would have done the same thing.
Yeah. Well, I have to say, I mean, I appreciate your attitude because, you know, a lot of these interviews that I do, a lot of people take this game very seriously and they get very, very upset. So I think the fact that you can kind of own the game and own that, you know, you may have made a mistake here or there and you don't really kind of get mad at those for doing it. So when you guys are about to vote, do you know it's you or are you surprised? So you know going in, it's basically donezo for you.
Yep.
And so, I mean, I guess, in your opinion, who's running your tribe or who's running your party at that time?
Jennifer and Kyle were definitely running things over there.
Nice. And, you know, again, I know that you were out of this game pretty early. So is there anyone that's left that you are currently rooting for that you hope takes home the championship trophy, whatever this is?
I'm actually rooting for Jared.
Wait, say that again?
Jared.
Okay. So we have a team Jared on our hands.
Yeah.
So before I let you go, I just want some quick questions. What was your favorite challenge that you participated in?
The one where you had to pick a number and then you had to go find what it was.
Yeah, scavenger hunt is like everyone's favorite every season. So much fun there. Great. So any final thoughts or anything you want to kind of share with everyone who's watching about what you were hoping to accomplish in the game, or, you know, any final thoughts you want to share?
I was hoping to win, but that's okay. Otherwise, no. I don't think so.
Okay. Would you play again?
That I don't know. I have never played a Survivor game like this. I've played many Survivor games since finding out that they exist.
Yeah.
But this one was definitely really hard. If you were to log off as soon as the challenge was over, well, there goes your chances of making an alliance because everybody's just kind of like, bye.
Yeah.
So that I don't know. Maybe when school is over and work is not so hectic, I think I would give it another try.
Nice. Well, Dakota, thank you so much for taking the time to talk to me. You know, it was great to kind of hear your side. You were thrilling to watch. We really enjoyed you. We miss you already, but thank you so much. And I hope you have a great rest of your day. And to everyone at home who's watching, thank you for tuning in, and I'll see you in the next episode. So bye, everyone.